Welcome to another episode of Humanly Plausible.
She says.
It's not.
Okay.
Well, we're talking already, so we already commenced the podcast. It's started. So we've started this podcast with make sure your mama's right, you know?
And edit all that other stuff.
Take all that out. Yes, that is a
You heard that, Gavin, right? Okay,
all
just
that
want to
out.
make sure.
But for the record, I've always been afraid of my mom for everything.
Me too.
And probably still
To this
now.
day.
Same.
Yeah, to this day. Yeah.
Yes.
If she told me, boy, sit down and shut up.
You gonna do it.
Or the
Shout out
look.
to the moms.
Just the look.
Yeah.
My mom gives me a look. I'm
Mom
like,
power.
Yeah, I was that era. Just a look.
Yeah, just a look.
And my mom was a teacher. So she already had the look mastered. Yeah, it was.
Wow. Well, welcome to Humanly Plausible.
Thank
Yes.
you.
This is what we do. We talk.
I'm already.
We talk about it. And then there's a box that luckily I've already met you before
A
because
box.
that's been the trend is that I meet people on this show.
Yeah, he was
Ask
like,
them a random
okay.
question.
Yes.
Okay.
Like actually our whole introduction was great because we had your friend in the background, which
Yes.
is hilarious.
Correct.
And you guys were all, having a good time.
Oh, on our first meeting.
Yes.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was hilarious.
Alex.
I'm like, what is it? What's happening
What's
right now?
happening?
No one
and
knew.
Where
I'm
am
so
I?
sorry.
I just jumped on this thing and I'm like,
I'm so sorry. Very memorable, though.
Oh,
Had
it
you all
is.
laughing,
Yes.
kikiing.
but I think it
between
was
the
a
two.
good way of saying, well, if you can deal with that, you're good
Yes.
here.
Correct.
So, why don't you tell people about who you are? Just a quick introduction about
Okay.
yourself.
Quick intro. I am Terri Stallworth, formerly Terry Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
I got married late 24, so that's been a whole thing. Thank you.
Congrats.
Still in the
Thank
newlywed
you.
phase?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's all good.
When
He's
will
great.
be over newlywed phase?
Hopefully never.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I hope
Good
to never
answer.
be out of that.
Indeed.
So yeah, shout out to you OGs in the married life.
How many years?
20
Okay.
Really?
I'm 13, 14.
20 years.
So you're like a preteen, teenager.
Oh, I like how
So
you
he's
said that.
19, so
And
you
you-
can figure out that, honey.
Look at that. That's awesome. Good man. Okay, so
As he drinks his coffee. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So by day,
Yeah.
I am a certified business intermediary. It's a very fancy title that I'm surprised I got out that smoothly today.
Mm-hmm.
But I help people buy and sell businesses across the state of Florida. So I've been with my brokerage, Florida Business Exchange, for 15 years, which is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Life comes at you fast.
It does.
But yeah, that's my little snippet. Born and raised here in Jacksonville. This is home. West side is the best side. It's the second time I've said that today. Argue me later.
Yeah, I'm still not hip with anything, so I
Yeah.
don't understand
He's like, what does that
anybody- Yeah, I'm
mean?
like, I'm
It
sure
will
it means
make
something. I gotta
sense
go.
soon.
If you find
I
like
gotta research
Jacksonville
it, yeah.
natives, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We're like, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
What side of town? Rep your side. All the
Like
things.
I was at the comedy show that I'm not going to plug because
Yes.
they're not advertisers.
Correct.
So, but when everybody starts, they start with the whole Duval.
Yeah,
which is
Duval.
cool. But I'm like, I'm still.
Yeah,
I'm
not getting it. It takes
No,
a couple
I
years.
get it, but I'm not in it, so I don't
think
feel like
you-
I'm part of it yet.
You
Yes.
will be
I will
very
be,
soon.
right.
It's coming.
Comes. So quick little tangent. Being a native of Jacksonville, what's fascinating about the Duval chant is like, just recently I saw that there's finally coverage about how that started.
Oh,
Because
good, 'cause I
people
actually don't know.
associate it with the football team, but if you're from Jacksonville, going all the way back to when we only had one urban radio station, which at the time was 92.7, which is now 93.3. But the point is, way back in the day, there was a radio jock who is still on the air, different station now, but Eazy-E, who would just kind of say that at night. And they had all these local opportunities for, they had like programming segments. So you knew who was on at 6 o'clock and you were listening and trying to get your cassette ready and all the
Yes.
things, right?
I remember that.
And so it just morphed and here we are. And it's like people don't know where that
The
started.
origin. Well, there you go.
And I just saw recently, I think the Jaguars did an interview with him to talk about the inception of that. And I was like, finally. Because no one, unless you're from
I didn't
here,
know. I didn't
See, I
you
know.
just
don't
got
know.
schooled.
I just found that out today.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
You're
that.
welcome.
And
We'll
that's
do all
it.
this.
If there's anything learned in today's podcast, is that. That's
Yeah.
it.
There
you go.
And we
Giving
nailed it.
credit
We
to
won.
where credit is due.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cornerstone of it all,
Yes.
I guess, is the point that
Yes.
in all things, right? Like, let's just give credit where credit it is.
Duval.
I love that too. That's why, Terry, you're here.
Come on.
There's that.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Go ahead.
Were you gonna ask her? 'Cause I was gonna.
Well, I just want to say really quick, like Terry is amazing. I've known Terry for quite some time. And she's just like, you see her, but she has so many, like she was an all-star tennis player. I told her I was going to talk about it. When she was young. Tell us about your tennis experience really quick before we get to this box. So people just understand how amazing you were as an adolescent in tennis.
I'm going to start this answer by saying what I've now learned at 40 is that you live so many iterations of your life. And so as you're meeting people along your journey, it's like you realize this group of people from this age range knows me only for X.
Yeah.
The next group of people only know me for Y. So what's fascinating about this, I'm sure if you met any of my classmates, middle school, high school, college, I'll say college up until like my sophomore year, it was Terry the tennis player. Enter like junior year of college into my young adulthood, it was like Terry the music business.
Yes.
And then enter, mid-20s, I fell into business brokerage, and it took me a long time to establish Terry the business intermediary. But it's fascinating because there are people who have no idea
Yes.
that I played tennis. So
And she didn't just play.
I played tennis. It paid for a little bit of college. But I loved it. Like,
Yeah.
eat, sleep, drink tennis. Like, homeschooled my last year.
Tennis is hard. I mean, I love tennis.
Yes.
I'm all right. I can hit the ball back.
Yes.
But I've
She's
always tried to
good.
be. I'm not even claiming.
Now, I would
I
probably
keep saying when we need to play.
pass out trying to play tennis.
So pickleball, are you insulted by it? Do you play it?
Ooh, you're the first person to ask me that. Completely was like, what is a dink? That's stupid, right? Sorry, don't come for me. Sorry. But
all right.
now, you know what I've come to appreciate? I've never played. And I am now to the point where I can appreciate it and try to play at some point. What I love about pickleball from the outside looking in and somewhat ignorant of the game compared to tennis is that it's more diverse and a lower barrier to entry.
Yes.
So that I love because playing tennis as a young black girl, it was me. And so as much as I appreciate, my mother is the reason that I picked up tennis. I was a dancer, believe it or not, from
Like ballerina.
ballet, tap, all the
I could
things.
see that.
And then
With your little tutu.
found exactly
And leggings.
Found tennis because my mother was like, I want you to be exposed to this side of things. My mother did a wonderful job trying to make sure that exposure was there. I want you to be well-rounded, and I feel like she accomplished that.
She did.
I'm very proud of that. But that's how tennis came to be. But in that, I distinctly remember some not so pleasant experiences because of where I was in proximity. But I think also that equips you for real world.
Yes.
Some people just aren't going to like you for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how polite, how hard you work. It just is what it is. So to have those experiences early on, I think is a benefit.
I love that. And just one more thing before we do the box, because that segues into the fact that you're a certified business intermediary. What's the difference between certified and non-certified?
Thank you for asking that. So a certified business intermediary designation, CBI, is through our national organization, the International Business, all these acronyms, International Business Brokers Association, IBBA. So that comes with education, testing, continuing education to keep up the designation and recertify every couple of years.
Volume.
So volume, you have to, maintain a certain amount of volume to recertify. So there really is a lot of work that goes into that designation, much like, yourself. And so I appreciate that distinction. Sometimes I don't think that it really, matters to the mainstream, but if they understand the difference.
The amount
for
of
sure.
work and effort, and you teach
Absolutely.
classes and you go nationwide and all the things. Okay, we can
Thank
take
you.
out the box now. I just want to make sure
I
they
didn't
know.
No, that was good information.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, because again, I know a lot of folks that are interested in potentially selling a business, but I
Yes.
think, you know, it's very intimidating for folks. And some people think
Absolutely.
and I think we had talked about it but when we first talked about some people might not even think that they could sell their business.
That's
Yes.
the bigger, even today, where there's a lot more mainstream conversation, but that's the thing. Like for many people, it's, oh, either my kids are going to take it over or I'll just close the doors. And it's like, you don't know, you may have value there, but sometimes more than you realize.
Yeah.
I had a financial advisor say to me once that for a lot of their clients, the biggest asset on a client's personal balance sheet is their business oftentimes. And so there's usually value there. So yes, it's probably more than some people realize.
Yeah, because I mean, because we could probably get into a whole conversation on that.
That's going to be a part 2.
But there's a lot of equity beyond just the cash
Absolutely.
and sales. There's the brand, the representation of that brand in the market. So I'm assuming these are all part of, because I don't know anything about selling a business.
No, you're spot on. Those are all
Okay.
the intangibles. We call
Okay.
that the goodwill.
Okay.
Right? Things that are established. And we're all entrepreneurs here. So, you know, when you think about what we've gone through individually to build a business from
Yeah.
scratch, it's like, could there have been a path where maybe I could have bought someone, you know, for certain industries, of course, but
Right.
could I have purchased someone's business and skipped steps 1 through 3 and trial and error and just built on what they already had established? So absolutely.
I love that.
Cool. All right. So the box. We're
The
gonna
box.
We're gonna do the box.
Okay.
Getting to the box. We might have to have like a little song. Open the
You
box.
should, producer. Like a jingle. I
Get
think that's a
into the
great. That's
I
a good.
agree.
Okay, you're welcome.
Well,
I
you-
was here for it.
You're in the music business, so
No,
maybe you can.
was.
Well,
Past tense,
Way past tense.
not current.
my wife sings,
Oh,
and my kid and my youngest is drums, sax. So maybe we can throw some.
I think
All right,
you should.
There you go.
that would be
You should
good.
have
Like
a
you
song.
kind of like go to them real quick, doing something
Yeah.
together,
Can you do
like
a
get
jingle?
into the box,
Ba-doom.
and then bring
This
it back
is
to
the
us.
box. How the lyrics go again?
Get
We're
into
opening the
We're
box.
opening. Look at you, so cute. Opening the box. Okay,
It's going
there it is.
Okay.
You get to open
I
it. You
love
get
this.
to choose.
I get to choose.
Because this is spontaneous.
no
we
pressure,
do not know.
no pressure, no pressure.
What's being chosen? Look how many. That's a lot
Am
of
I reading
questions.
it?
You are reading it out loud,
Oh
please.
yeah, there is.
I would pull like a
I think
really.
there's like 100 in there.
That's good.
Oh,
Oh gosh, I don't
Is
like
it a
that.
good-o or a
no,
bad?
these are like.
yeah,
good
they're
questions.
deep questions. Yes.
Yeah.
We sometimes have to think about it.
Can a brand evolve without evolving its culture? What happens if it tries?
That's a huge. It's always kind of a. This culture is a kind of a big word. Maybe that's another one, like a phrase that sometimes I just wish I could remove, but it's so important. You can't
is.
It
remove
is important.
It is very important.
Because one of our previous questions, our last question was, what phrase would you remove
Yes.
from what was it everyday
From company culture.
from
Yeah.
company culture?
Yes.
Interesting. Can a brand evolve without evolving its culture?
So I can open us up on that one because
Okay.
this is something that I deal with
Yes, you
constantly.
do.
Yes.
So I go back. So when we start with any business, like most service companies, there's a discovery phase.
Correct.
And the discovery is so important because we need to understand what that climate is like, culture, leadership. Because again, if you're service oriented and we're out there advertising and then we bring in that audience and then you wreck those relationships, now you got another situation because now you got like crisis management and all these things that have to go into play. But let's say it's not that severe. But if we misrepresent
That's right.
the organization, we bring them in, and then like those people, especially now that people start writing reviews and everybody's quick to like, hey, you know, these people suck or whatever. So that's why on the advertising world, if those two don't line up, it just doesn't make any sense. And so like
can
you
see
can't
that.
evolve, you can't even grow, and you cannot scale. Because again, like as a business owner, you think about like when you start a business, and well, not every business person starts that. So like, let's say you start your business, like at least you want to think about how can I scale this? What does this
Yes.
look like 6 years from now? Or
That's
what
right.
does success look like for this business? And so part of that should be like, I since day one, and I don't even know how, I guess like we were talking about kind of the experience from the Disney perspective and all that
Yes.
stuff and how great companies do this, the
Yes.
Ritz-Carlton. But see, those are the things that people don't forget. How you were treated, how you
Yes.
were talked to.
Yes.
1,000%.
They're not going to remember whether you fixed their, I'll use AC because it's kind of such a broad service, but so like an AC company fixing and repairing and doing, at a decent price, nobody remembers that. But how you treated them, were you on time?
That's right.
When you said you were going to be there, you were there.
That's right.
So that entire experience, and then culture as well, because see, if I call and somebody picks up and they treat me rudely,
Oh, they're going to remember that, hands down.
what does that say about the technician
Everybody
that
else.
shows up
That's
or
right.
the business owner?
Yes.
I recently, and so I do this a lot. So when I call and somebody treats me good, I'm like, can I speak to your manager? And I kind of like,
Yes.
and I talk to them about like how their
Give them
service.
kudos.
Yeah. And so AC companies, I'll keep using them.
This is because it's a recent experience.
Yes,
Honestly.
it is.
You're like, those
Actually,
AC
today, yeah.
companies, they're not
It's a thing.
they're not created equal.
Yes. So now these companies are using AI
Yes.
answering services. Don't do that. I mean, that's
I'm
the
not a
end.
fan.
No,
Me either.
you will.
I want to talk
It's a
to
collapse.
someone.
Talk to someone. And I don't want to talk to AI someone because
Agreed.
sometimes they'll get you. When you first start, you're like talking and you're like, hold on, something's
It's
different
true.
with
Yeah.
this conversation.
Yep, it's
you're
true.
like, oh, this is AI. That's why.
Yeah, and last note on. At the end of the day, it's easier to work with good culture than it is bad culture,
Yes.
Absolutely.
because from that you can build,
Yes.
you can foster good morale, personnel, and it's just kind of a organic growth that
Yes.
happens when it's not.
I agree. And I the culture word, to your point, Rolly, is like, well, that can be kind of relative. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Because it becomes very subjective.
True.
But I will say, like, I think about it from my lens of work. It's hugely important that a buyer that's looking at a business, I don't care how much cash they have, how quickly they can close, all of the things. If the culture of the company does not align with that buyer, be it the individual or the group, it doesn't work. And you think about that even more so because naturally, for any, I think, group of people, there's a culture that exists, organizations, companies, friendships, relationships. You all have a culture here. I can feel it. It's great.
Yes, we do. Synergy.
It's real, right? So that's going to naturally exist. And to your point, if that business has a positive culture, people feel good about showing up
Yeah.
to work. They feel like they're dignified and treated with respect. You better believe it matters that the person buying it is going to maintain that. So my answer to this would be no. I don't think a company or a brand can evolve without evolving the culture, because you said something that prompted me to think about scale. What if I have to onboard a new team member? What if now we've grown to this point that I need to hire a CFO? Well, the wrong one could tank the momentum. The right one could accelerate it.
Correct.
Maybe I need to hire a new manager. How do they manage? So no, I don't think that a brand can evolve without evolving its culture as well.
So it's interesting that you brought it back to kind of your line of work, of course. But so has there been an instance where you've seen this thing play out like that? Like, now that you got me thinking?
It's rare, I'll tell you that. And this is going to sound a little hokey.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to sellers and preparing them I try my best to kind of set and manage expectations. And I always say every deal is going to have an issue. We can try to pinpoint all the potential, fires and pitfalls. There's going to be something in every deal. What I have found by far, if there's a good synergy between the parties, when those hurdles arise, that's what keeps the deal together. The times that you can feel like either one side or sometimes both sides are taking the position like it's my way only, it falls apart because there's going to be a challenge of some sort that we have to work through. Yes. So I've really only seen it a little bit because I try to prepare the seller. Part of our process, unlike real estate, is that you're meeting the potential buyer early. And I always say, pay attention to how you feel. That sounds hokey, but please, you'll know when it's like, I'm not so sure about this person, or I feel really good. Like, I think that they get it. And the more those conversations go on, I think the alignment becomes clear. So mostly I don't see it because the sellers will tell me, I don't think that's the right fit for my business. And a great example that I talk about frequently is you take like take a blue collar company. We're on HVAC today. We'll use that. Okay. We're going to stick with the theme.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of private equity groups, were and are looking to acquire those kinds of businesses. All of the alphabets behind their names. They speak in a very high register. You come in to meet, usually the owner who's in blue jeans every day, a flannel, he's got his pickup truck, maybe the family works in there, or he's had employees that have been with him 20 years, and you're speaking above their head. And I don't mean that they don't understand what you're saying, like they're ignorant. It's just we don't talk like that here. What is EBITDA talking about?
It's funny because I was thinking that in my head, and you actually said that.
EBITDA and CAPEX and all this jargon, and it's like, just
break it
plainly
down. Yes.
And I
to a
understand
first grade
you,
level.
but like, my employees are not going to understand that. My customers don't speak that way.
Right.
I can tell you, you don't understand me. You don't understand my business. You don't understand my culture.
Yeah.
We're not selling to you.
Period. So there's something to be said for that, and understand it. Like, for all of us, right? We have to understand our customer. We have to understand our client. Like, who are we talking to? There's a time maybe to speak in a higher register. Yeah. But, I don't know. So for like 2 seconds, quick sidebar. I was an adjunct. So my degree is actually
I'm so happy you said this because I didn't want to bring everybody
it brought
into
up,
that.
It brought up an example that I would tell my students. So I would teach reading and grammar, okay? And I would tell my students, because I was in the adult ed programs. These are people who are trying to get their GED. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm like, if you have gone through all this life and you made the decision, I want to go back and get my GED, please don't feel ashamed by that. Correct. That's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful, yes.
I'm also not here to correct how you talk. If you catch me after 5 o'clock, I don't sound like this. But I want you to know when to use it. So I would tell them jokingly, if you saw me in Publix in a formal gown, after 5 attire, would that look strangely to you? And they would just laugh. Like, yeah, like, where are you going? You're not going to the opera.
Yes.
I'm buying grocery. And that's how I would explain the register. There's a time for that.
Yes.
I'm buying my grocery after work.
Yes.
You're not going to see me dressed the same. So that's how I feel about that. That's my tangent.
I love it. Okay, let me see the question again.
Yes.
Read it for me again.
Okay, I'll read it for you
because
again.
I have a couple of things. I'm going to give my little edge.
Yes, please do.
Yes.
Can a brand evolve without evolving its culture? What happens if it tries?
Okay. So both of you made great points, and I agree with everything that you're saying. I do think there are some brands that are just like the product or service is so amazing, but maybe the company is not equipped for said product or service in terms of how well it does. That's one point. The other point is the inverse, right? Great group of people, great company culture, product or service, not so much. I like you, but not what you're giving, what you're selling me.
That's a good point.
Okay. The third thing is, and this is just across the board, longevity, sustainability, right? So let's say agreement that company culture to me is number one. I'd rather have a great company culture, but also a great product or service, because you need to pivot and you need to figure out what are we doing. So let's just assume product or service is not the issue. We're saying company culture evolving with brand, said brand. The sustainability to me is the factor, right? How long can it last? Because all of us are at the age group that we can remember Blockbuster.
Right.
I love Blockbuster.
Same.
I would walk in, I would walk around,
Yes.
I would pick my DVDs
That's
and
right.
all of that. And honestly, everybody at Blockbuster is amazing. They're kind. They're like, I love this movie.
Yes.
This is the pick of the week for that the employees chose. Remember they used to have the little
Yes,
papers
they sure
that would show.
did.
But with
Do
times,
you know that's making a comeback now? Like rentals of VHS.
oh, they're
We're
bringing back the
all yearning
VHS
for nostalgia.
Yes, the
We
simplicity
just
of life.
want- yes.
But I threw you off. But
Yeah.
go
No,
ahead.
that's okay.
No, that's true.
Because you were following what I was putting. You were picking up what I was putting
I
down.
saw
right?
it this morning. Yeah.
Okay, you're like
I thought it was
Blockbuster.
really?
No,
That
that's
makes
kind of
sense.
cool, right? So when I think about, like, yes, you've got some ingredients, but the product or service also needs to evolve. Okay, but then on the other side, we can think of like Apple, right? I'm an Apple user. I know without a doubt, I can go to Apple. Everybody's so knowledgeable. They're going to tell you everything that you need to know. You're going to leave probably buying something extra
Yep.
because you didn't know you needed it or you just need the upgrade because the service
Yes.
and the experience, everyone enjoys going to an Apple store. Everyone enjoys dealing with Apple. So I say that to say there's different situations that come up, but long story short, I think that they both need to come together, right? Because as long as you have the company culture and an amazing product or service that aligns with it, the sky is the limit. But the sustainability about that, right?
so true.
Because when you have company culture, like you're not as good as your leadership. We talked about leadership previously, right? So when you have a leadership reorg, look at Disney. How many times did they have to bring back Bob Iger?
Yes.
Bob's like, can I retire?
Like for real
Please.
this time.
Yeah.
I just want to retire.
Yes.
You know, I think it's 2 times he's had to leave, come back, leave, come back. So he's just left again.
We'll see.
Right.
We're holding, right?
We'll see.
But when we think about Disney, company culture,
Yes.
amazing, product to service, amazing.
Yes.
Leadership, right? Because when you start getting that successful, you've got shareholders you got to answer
That's
to.
right.
You got board of directors you got to
Yeah.
answer to. You got all these other people that everybody wants to be happy. And so it's like, what is success in a business?
What is success?
What
in a
is
business?
success in a business?
You
But-
talk about a subjective question.
But
That's a good question.
A good example of what that looks like and what culture could do for you is Publix and Winn-Dixie.
It's so true.
Like Publix is like they have fought like so many seasons, but they continue to expand and grow.
That's right.
And it's because of that culture, obviously, you know, and what they're putting out, but it's the entire experience. Their unique value proposition is
I love that you said that because
where shopping is a pleasure.
yeah, where shopping is a pleasure, but their employees are vested.
100%.
Compared to Winn-Dixie, I don't know a lot of people that say, "Oh, I've been in Winn-Dixie for decades."
No, they're
I've
But
met a
Publix-
handful
They're-
on the like corporate side, but it also seems that there's a lot of
Turnover.
yes.
Yeah. But when I see Publix,
They're there.
they
30
retire.
years. Yes. From
Yeah.
there.
There's so many people retire
In
or
the
about to
store.
retire in the store.
It's true.
I've been working for Publix 20, 30, 40 years and it's
because
like
you're proud. You're proud to go
very
to work.
proud.
Yes.
And
Well,
a
it
great
doesn't matter what
service,
you're
great
doing, right?
product.
No.
Because everybody, it's leadership. So a lot of people go into they start, like, for instance, and we'll talk about like people that just start a business. The people start a business because they're good at something.
Right.
So when I first started mine, it was really creative in design, and so I had to evolve.
That's right.
Because if you don't evolve and if you just stay focused on the service, then you're not creating anything. You're not raising up anything. You're not creating as far as a business, you know. And it's okay for people to realize I'm not a business professional.
Right.
I'm a whatever. I'm good at X.
Yes.
This is what I studied. This is what I'm prepared for, or this is what I'm good at, or my product is amazing.
Right.
You know, I saw this widget that's awesome, right? But beyond that, if you're looking to scale, that's a whole different
Yes.
conversation.
It's
It
true.
is.
And
It is
and
so true.
either you surround yourself or you hire the right people.
Yes.
Just because you're the business owner doesn't make you don't have to be the CEO, and that's a lot of people get confused with that.
You just had a mouthful.
I like yes.
But it's true. A lot of people don't
Business-
understand
Business
that.
intermediary broker.
Yes. That's
What
a
are your
mouthful.
thoughts about that?
I think exactly what Rolly said. We know, I call it our highest and best use, like for real estate, right? We know our highest and best use in our business. If my highest and best use is not, financial management or steering a company, right? Like I need to find the people that can help me do that. But again, thoughtfully so, to make sure the company that I want to create and maintain and sustain
Right.
is done with who I'm bringing in. But not every business owner is or needs to be the CEO. And even that, this is my little also second tangent. The title of CEO, I think we use too loosely
Yeah.
for small mom and pop businesses.
Yes.
Like
Probably president, maybe, or owner.
president,
Or,
you took it right, depending on, and it really depends on how you're structured, right? Am I
Yes.
an LLC? Then I'm a
Correct.
manager.
yes.
If I'm an S corp or a C corp, am I the president or or director? It's like there's no CEO title,
Right.
for real, right? Well, corporation.
So I used to.
If you're a major
Yes,
corp,
Yeah.
like if I'm
corporation.
establishing an entity in the state of Florida, it's not a real,
Yes, you're right.
but that's
So
a different conversation for a
yeah.
different.
No, you're right.
For the
That
record, I
was-
used to have the CEO title many years ago, and I
Yes.
removed it because I never felt like it was right. It didn't make any sense.
Correct.
Like I was like,
What is your title now?
so now it's founder, chief creative officer,
That is fitting.
Okay.
which is
Yes.
really what I am.
Yeah.
And so I'm guilty of everything I've said.
Yes.
Because I, for many years, tried to be all that, and
Yes.
and some. And so that stressed the hell out of my life.
I'm sure.
Because when we grew to the biggest we've ever been, I was managing 25 employees, and it was like I could tell
Oof.
that how messed up things were. Like in the sense of I can manage the creative side of things, but when it got to like I ended up hiring an office manager, so that helps some, but that's still
Yes.
not even the right
Fit.
you know. So I didn't have a true HR director.
Yes.
That was a consultant, but I needed somebody to oversee just like an operations person,
I was gonna
a high level person.
peg what you just said because I don't think enough small business owners also understand your business with, say, 1 to 5 employees can be vastly different from that 5 to 10. But
Yeah.
when you cross that threshold of like 10 plus 25, that's a completely different animal, and people don't realize
Yeah.
that.
Did you hide a little bit? You're like,
No, I felt like I was like a prisoner of my own device. Like I was Hotel California stuff.
Yes, not Hotel California. Oh, I love it.
Like I was locked in. I was in my office drinking a lot of scotch. What am I doing?
what is this all for?
What the hell? And then COVID hit, thank God, and just blew the whole thing up.
So now I have a question, if it's okay.
Of course.
What was
This
the
is totally
rate
candid.
Yeah, this is
at
great.
which you grew, say, from like 10 or 15 to 25? Was it fast?
Yeah, it was
Or
within
that probably is more scary.
a year and a half span.
Wow.
But I was used to managing big teams, so it
Yes.
wasn't like that wasn't and a lot of those folks were like creatives, writers,
Okay.
designers, so web folks, but very little office manager folks, and so that you could see it was just
Yes.
so when things arised, I just hit.
Yeah,
And-
that's what I'm saying. You hide.
drink.
You're like,
I'm not kidding. I didn't have a
you're in your
drinking
home-
problem.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Disclaimer.
Just
Maybe
making
after
sure.
work is done, you're like, I
this.
just need a reprieve. I just need a.
But no, I was severely under stressed. Imposter syndrome for sure.
Wow.
And yeah, I would say it was probably the worst times in my career.
Yeah.
And then I was fortunate that, so things kind of lined up, and I think God gave me an out. So right before COVID, our building, the lease was coming up. And so we were in downtown Hollywood, Florida, and 5,000 square foot office. And so I lost one of my big accounts, $1.5 million. And so I was like, well, maybe I should downsize and I shouldn't renew this. Cause the guy was like, well, we're going to sell the building. So I
Okay.
just wanted to let you know. And I don't know what that means for you, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to,
Take the exit.
I'm out. So I downsized, went to a smaller office, and then COVID hits.
Yep.
And I was like, yes. And then I switched most of the staff to contract.
Yes.
And little by little, and that was my exit. I wanted to really quit and cry. That's what I wanted
I
to do.
understand.
I think we all have moments of quitting and
Do
crying.
I was
but we
miserable. I hated my
persevere.
career, but
And then you love it now. It's revitalized.
well, yeah. During COVID, I was like, it was an awakening, because now I got to do what I love to do,
That's
which
right.
is more of the creative, the brand work, the, working with my clients on, because I just became basically, I was answering calls and I was doing more of politics than I was anything on my job. And I suck at that.
Yeah, you're not
Like,
even
that's what I'm
doing
good.
what you're supposed to do. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I like networking, but not at that capacity where I'm
Right.
just trying to bridge gaps like I'm a lobbyist.
Correct.
No.
I love it.
I do too.
And that's my story. And I'm
Thank
going
you
to
for
stick to
sharing
You're
it.
that.
sticking to it. No,
You have a
really.
tissue?
Because you've imparted a lot of wisdom, because like we were talking earlier, we're all at different levels and years of your business, and depending on what stage you're in, there's certain things that you're dealing with, right? So you may have gone through and you've hired all these people and you're like, I don't need all these people. What do I do? Yeah. And that transition can be tough, right? Yes. And then you have moments where you're still doing everything. And you shouldn't be doing everything.
And you should not be doing
So
everything.
where is the release? Where is the delegation? Where are we with that, right? And I think that anytime you're getting to the next level, there is a little bit of a tug of war.
Always.
Where it's like, do I do this? Am I doing the right thing? Because we said earlier, like, no, there's no book to being an entrepreneur. There's no, right? You deal with business owners all the time. Yeah. And from the outside, they're like, yeah, they've got together. And you're like,
if you only knew. I just had that conversation with someone yesterday. I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you sharing that, though, because I think that's a testament to reality. And why I say that, because Patricia knows, I'll say often, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet.
Yeah.
And so you have all of this commentary in recent years around scale. Great. But if you're not scaling properly, which I'm not saying that you did it improperly.
No, I messed up.
But there are some that are, but no, I mean, you've even probably seen it with some franchises. Like, I hear that a lot. I want a franchise. They have one location. I want a franchise. And it's like, I don't think they really understand what that entails. The thing about franchising, I won't call any names, but we've had some that have been really regionally successful here in the Jacksonville area or Northeast Florida area, for many years. And they either scaled too quickly and the model breaks, or, they didn't really have proof of concept enough to really have streamlined stores and, P&Ls or whatever the case may be. So there's a cost to everything. So even if you're scaling properly, there's that. Does it take you out of what you really are passionate about? We don't always think about that, because it's always like more. But if it's sustainable where you are, maybe that's the thought. I think we're in that culture where it's like, if you're not everywhere in scaling and you're not doing enough, and that's not accurate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
because sometimes
accurate.
I will say, I'm like, as a business owner, just watch for a week, not even a day. Be with a business owner for a full week.
But after hours.
Yeah, no, but not what's like.
Go
see,
after hours.
See what it really looks like, the fortitude, the mental fortitude, the amount of discipline, the amount of consistency, the amount of juggling.
And the cry in the corner that we just talked about.
And
like,
the cry in the corner where you get a call, you're like,
yes.
Yeah.
I'll deal with this in a couple minutes.
Yes.
And that's real life. It's not for the faint at heart. There's a lot of pluses, but then there's some minuses that come along with it. And I love the cost saying, which is very accurate. But I will say, when you go with passion and purpose, that's what keeps you going. That's what pushes you through. That's what wakes you up and says, I can do this, right?
Yeah.
And when you interact with people and they say, oh my gosh, either your business changed my life, your business has been a cornerstone, I love what you're doing here, keep going. That's the fuel.
It's so true.
That drives
you. And it always
you.
comes at the right time.
It does.
From someone.
You're like, I needed to hear that. You have no idea.
Yes.
I needed to hear that. I love that.
So closing thoughts.
It was all a dream. No, I'm just joking.
So don't get me started. Okay.
Who wants to go first with the closing remarks?
I have some. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
That's a fact.
It is okay to...
Please understand that.
Yes, to be an employee. That is okay.
Nothing
I
wrong
don't
with
care
that.
what social media tells you.
It's true.
Agreed.
Not everyone's supposed to be, be a boss. Like, it's not, no. And count the cost. right? Those will be my closing remarks.
That's good. With everything we talked about today, in just a moment, knowledge,
Okay.
doing your homework, and not homework from social media only. I think social media
Correct.
definitely has a place.
Yes.
But getting plugged in with your local networking groups, your local chamber of commerce, your local business intermediaries, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to focus on. Talk to people that are actually going through it, because there's so much insight and information that can be imparted. And I think everybody's journey is different. Like, you know, you take the good and you leave the bad. But I think there's a lot of, like you said, misinformation that sometimes I watch and I just chuckle. And I'm like, how long have you been in business? You know, and not to say, I think you have to start from somewhere, right? So
absolutely.
If I remember who I was at 1 year in business,
Yes.
2 years in business,
It's true.
then we're going to jump to 5 years in business, 8 years in business, 10 years in business. And then going forward, I'm like, I am not the same person.
No.
And we were just talking about we talk, all of us, like our experiences, the good and the bad. And thankfully we can laugh at it, and we have an amazing mentality and demeanor about things, because I think that's super important.
It is.
Because you cannot last if you can't laugh at it, right? At the
take
end.
yourself too
In the moment, it might be like, oh gosh, the sky is falling.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to be said about the drive, the grit, knowing that it might look glamorous. And there's parts to it that are glamorous, I think, you know, in respective experiences. But there's just a lot of purpose and passion and doing things you're like, do I really have to do this? And you're like, yeah, in order to get it done, you have to. And that's okay too.
So I mean, 100% on knowledge. I think the more you know, before you're going to do anything is important. Actually, in Hollywood, we're part of with Hollywood, the city of Hollywood, and we teach a startup program in marketing.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
There's just a lot of things I don't. You know,
I know, you're just giving it to us, so you'll do one in Jacksonville.
Here's the thing,
That's what it sounds like.
actually, So, and what we teach those folks is how to really think about how you're going to scale.
Yes.
Because people are always excited about their widget or their product or their service, and they don't think about what it looks like down the road.
That's right.
So I think based on the question, I think, you know, it goes without saying that culture is super important. And so even if you're a one-man shop, you should act as if, you know, you know, you are what you're going to be. So if your goal is to have, you know, 50 locations or 1,000 people working in the organization, I think it's understanding ultimately what you bring to the table. So knowledge of yourself, understanding how you're going to treat and, you know, and work with your team and the outside, you know, your client base. And always keep that focus, whether you're an expert in business or not. I mean, at least everybody knows how they like to be treated.
Yes.
So,
it comes down to that, honestly. Come with a cup of sugar.
It's all humanly plausible. And that's why we talk.
Humanly plausible.
Come on now. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me. This was a delight.
It seems like you'll be back again somehow. For
Yes.
sure.
Please. I see a circle
repeat.
back.
I like it.
would love to.
Part 2.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Thank you guys.
Bye.